The following video was made early last year. Since then, an additional turbine has been added to the plans, bringing the overall number to 12 turbines. The sizes of the turbines are now 155 metre high to tip height, and the wingspan of each turbine is 117 metres. We have added photo montages and information provided on the Ballynalacken Windfarm site to our own video. So the red line is a 2 kilometre zone from the turbines. There's 159 houses inside the 2 kilometre zone. The blue line is a 1 kilometre radius from a turbine. There are 47 houses inside the 1 kilometre distance from the turbines. Castlecomer is down on the bottom right of the red circle. Ballyragget is on the bottom left. Ballyuskle is just to the left hand side of the red circle, and if you look at the top of the red circle, Ballynakill is just there. So the turbine's proposed site is right in the middle of Castlecomer, Ballyragget, Ballyuskle and Ballynakill. Okay, so to start, here's a view from Ballyuskle Hall. These images are provided on the Ballynalacken website page from the same area. You can see what our turbines will actually look like from this area. You can also see that the company strategically took this photo montage from behind a tree. You can see the 11 turbines straight across the top of Ballymartin Hill. From here we go to the bottom of Low Hill. Ballynakill is located directly behind us. From the first turbine in Low Hill to the last turbine out at the 7 crossroads on the Castlecomer to Ballyragget Road covers a distance of 4 kilometres. That will give you an idea of the huge site proposed for the wind farm. This image is also provided on the Ballynalacken website. It shows a view from Haywood, and if you notice the 2 masts in the right hand corner, it will give you an idea of the sheer scale of these turbines. From here we'll take a view from the cross in Feroda where the statue of Our Lady is. This shows 8 of the turbines. There's another 3 off to the right, just out of shot. Again, these images are from the Ballynalacken Windfarm website, and they show the scale of these turbines from this area. Shortly you'll see one of the masts that are currently on the hill, and that will give an idea of the size of these turbines compared to the mast. As you can see, they're going to be totally overbearing. As I mentioned earlier, each turbine is 155 metres tall and 117 metres wide. Next we'll take a view from the 7 crossroads on the Ballyragget to Castlecomer road. We're going to go from here up to Cromwell's Road, which is on top of Ballymartin Hill. Again, this view is a view from the top of Ballymartin Hill on Cromwell's Road, which has been shared on the Ballynalacken Windfarm site. So the images provided are to scale. There are 2 telecommunication masts currently situated on top of Ballymartin Hill. The masts are 36 metres high, and there's a distance of 150 metres between the 2 masts. So for anyone that knows the 2 masts, that will give you an idea of the width of each turbine. For reference, in between the red turbine and the turbine on the left is the spire in Dublin to scale. So the spire in Dublin is 121 metres high. The red turbine on the right is one of the 80 metre high turbines to scale that was rejected in 2004. There were 5 80 metre high turbines proposed for the top of Ballymartin Hill, which were rejected by the County Council, and that decision was upheld by An Bord Pleanála at appeal stage. So in 2004 there was only 5 80 metre high turbines proposed. Now there are 12 turbines proposed for the same area at 155 metres high and 117 metres wide. So if we think in terms of width and we say that each turbine is 117 metres wide and there's 4 kilometres from the first turbine in Low Hill to the last turbine out at the Seven Cross Roads. 12 by 117 metres is 1,404 metres. So almost half of the hill will be covered in turbines in terms of wingspan. So if we think of bats and birds such as the protected kingfisher, which live at Low Hill Bridge and all along the Owenbeg River in a special area of conservation, and we imagine them crossing Ballymartin Hill, almost 1 in every 2 animals will meet the turbine blades. This image is taken from the cross in Feroda. It shows the 2 masts that are currently on the hill. As I said, they're 36 metres high and the distance between them is 150 metres. Nearly the same width as 1 turbine. And this is a close-up of the telecommunication masts. This is drone footage from the same area. On a clear day, there are 9 counties viewable from ground level on Cromwell's Road. The counties are Carlow, Kilkenny, Laois, Wexford, Wicklow, Offaly, Kildare, Tipperary and Waterford. As you can see, Cromwell's Road is an incredible viewpoint and it's no surprise that people come from all over on a regular basis to walk the route. Just giving an aerial view of the 2 masts again so you can picture the width of 1 single turbine. So we're just going to show another angle from the cross in Feroda to explain shadow flicker. So at 3 o'clock this evening, the 7th of the 1st, 2024, the sun is directly in the middle of one of the turbines. So this will cause a shadow flicker off the turbine blades. As the blades are in motion, a shadow will be cast at the area we're standing today at 3 o'clock. In this map provided on the Ballynalacken Windfarm website, we can see houses that will be affected by shadow flicker. The houses in the red zone can expect anything up to 30 hours of shadow flicker per year. This chart shows each individual house number and the minutes per day of light flicker they can expect to receive. The highlighted times are exceeding the guideline of 30 minutes per day. In this video, we can see the effects of light flicker inside somebody's house. As you can imagine, this can be incredibly frustrating for residents, especially those who may have elderly people living with them with dementia or parents to kids with autism. It's also important to remember that the chart only refers to the time that the light flicker is affecting your home. As you can see out the window of this house, the shadows will be passing through the field on local roads, so when you're walking your dog, tending your cattle or sitting in your garden, you can also be affected. This is not accounted for in the half hour per day on the chart. Okay, this is a video to show the rivers and waterways recognised and mapped by the EPA. So we've just inputted them onto our own map. And this is a view from Ballymartin looking down to Low Hill. And as you can see, that blue line we're approaching now is a stream in the bottom of the valley that feeds into the Owenbeg River. So there's at least 4 turbines and the dig outs for the 4 turbines and the quarries that will be on the hill, the runoff from these will all feed into this stream. So there's major concerns about the sedimentation and pollution that's going into the Owenbeg River. So this stream joins the Owenbeg River just here at the bottom of Low Hill. You can see it going into the pink area. So the pink area shows a special area of conservation. And this Owenbeg River flows straight into the Nore. here just above the Tirlawn factory in Ballyragget. So all the streams off the other side of the hill will be flowing into the Nore here as well. And as you can see, the pink area here, this is a view from the Tirlawn factory. And that pink area all up along to the left is where the pearl mussel in the Nore is. And this is also a protected species. So just going to go back here for an overview again, and you'll see all those highlighted blue lines are all recognised EPA streams and rivers. And there's a lot more of them, but this is what's mapped by the EPA. So you can see what you have there, going down to Castlecomer as well on the other side, and feeding into the Nore on the left-hand side. There's also concern about changes to the water table from the dig-outs for the turbines and the quarries. We are concerned about water quality and changes in the levels of domestic and agricultural wells. This is a map showing the houses that will be affected by noise. As you can see, the noise levels in the yellow and green areas are from 35 to 45 decibels. The World Health Organization states that for a good night's sleep, the noise levels should be 37 decibels or lower. New South Wales in Australia go a step further and say you need 35 decibels or less for a good night's sleep. In this chart we can see that there are a number of houses in the current planning application which will exceed the 40 decibels allowed. It's important to remember, as with the light flicker chart, this is the noise at your house only. It doesn't take into account when you're walking on the road or working in your farm or tending your cattle in the field. The wind farm company have sent this letter to houses affected by noise and light flicker. They say that noise levels will remain within the limits set by the planning conditions. A recent High Court case in Wexford involved two couples who owned houses near two turbines in Wexford. Plaintiffs alleged nuisance in the form of noise and vibration as well as shadow flicker. The noise was found to constitute a substantial interference with the plaintiffs' enjoyment of their own homes. The court heard evidence which demonstrated the significant impact that the noise disturbance had on the plaintiffs, including sleep deprivation, anxiety, and a range of impacts on the quality of life. As we said earlier, 30 minutes per day of shadow flicker is legally acceptable. Can you imagine 30 minutes of that every day? It was established that one of the plaintiffs suffered significant psychological health impacts stemming from the sleep deprivation arising from the noise nuisance. The couples claimed that they had been subjected to constant noise and nuisance from the wind farm, which damaged their lives, health, and the value of their properties. They said the noise was like a cement mixer or an airplane flying overhead without ever landing. One of these turbines was 655 metres away. The turbine height in the Wexford case was 130 metres high. The turbines in the Ballynalacken Windfarm are 155 metres high. These people could not get a good night's sleep in their own homes. Health effects are also referred to in the letter from the wind farm company. They were asked at a community meeting to give guarantees to the community that this wind farm would not affect anybody's health. They've fallen a long ways short of this guarantee. As you can see, they say that the health effects have been addressed in the environmental impact assessment report. Yet, this planning has not been sent to the HSE for consultation. They also say that the wind farm will be built in accordance with national regulations, which are outdated since 2006 and were designed for turbines which were less than half the size of the turbines proposed in Ballynalacken. Another court case took place in Ireland. This case involved a wind farm in County Cork. The wind farm had 10 turbines. The setback distance was 700 metres. The setback distance in Ballynalacken to the nearest house is 663 metres. The case involved 3 kids aged 10, 15 and 17. The kids had to leave their home in 2016. They claimed noise, vibrations and shadow flicker resulted in them suffering various conditions. These conditions included nosebleeds, earaches, skin rashes, swollen and painful hands, loss of power in the limbs, sleep disturbance and headaches. They started experiencing problems in May 2016 and had to move out of their own home in November 2016. Symptoms eased after they moved away but returned if they spent any time helping on the farm or near the wind farm. The kids had to take the case against the wind farm as the parents were receiving compensation from the wind farm in the form of a community benefit fund and as a result were not entitled to anything, even though they also suffered the same effects. Just to repeat, these turbines were 700 metres away and the ailments included nosebleeds, earaches, skin rashes, swollen and painful hands, loss of power in the limbs, sleep disturbance and headaches. So just to finish up the video, we're going to give you a view from the towns around. So this one is Ballinakill, the square in Ballinakill. And this is what you'll see from the square in Ballyragget. Then we go to the view from Castlecomer. And here's what you'll see from Haywood School. Haywood has an ASD centre, which is an autism spectrum disorder centre. Kids with autism are affected by infrasound and light flicker. This is the view from Nolan Park. You can see the red and blue lines at the top of the page, the 1 and 2 kilometre zones. So this image is taken from Cromwell's Road up on Ballymartin Hill, and it's the last turbine of the 11 turbines for Ballynalacken Windfarm is represented by that pink dot on the bottom right. That's where it'll be going. The 2 pink dots on the top left of the screen are this turbine 1 and 2 for Iron Mills wind farm. This wind farm is going in Laois. So even though we're talking about a 12 turbine wind farm, really we're talking about 23 turbine wind farm in Ballylacken and Iron Mills across in Laois. I'm just going to end the video with this drone footage from the top of Ballymartin Hill at Ballymartin Cross. The drone is 185 metres high in this video. I previously spoke about the 80 metre turbines, 5 of them that were refused permission by Kilkenny County Council. Their reasons were, and I quote, unduly prominent and visually intrusive, would be prejudicial to the natural beauty of the area and would interfere with the character of the designated landscape. The proposed development would therefore be contrary to proper planning and sustainable development of the area. If 5 80-metre turbines were refused in 2005 for these valid reasons, how can we now consider 12 155-metre high turbines for the same area?